Hey guys, what's going on? So in today's video, I'm very excited because in the video today, I'm going to be talking about this new bag that I just created for one of my friends on Instagram. And this is the most complicated, most time-intensive bag that I've made thus far, but I'm very pleased with how it came out. First off, obviously, as you can tell, this is a two-toned bag. I made it very similar to, the design inspiration was very similar to my Chrome Excel backpack, my Horween Chrome Excel bag that I got on Etsy a little over 3 years ago now. As you can see, it's two-tone, it matches in a lot of ways, except the leathers incorporated into this bag are completely different, believe it or not. So in this bag, the leather, the body is brown Chrome Excel. All the components, I believe, are a tan Essex color from Horween. So it's both Horween, and it's got a single enclosure strap here, whereas this one is upgraded in a lot of ways. So on this bag, so instead of brown Chrome Excel, we have British tan double shot from Seidel. Double shot is Seidel's rendition of Chrome Excel. It's not quite the same. It's got a little bit firmer of a temper. As you can see, it stands up a little bit better than the Chrome Excel does. It just kind of droops down, falls over flat on itself. The Chrome Excel is a lot more, it's a lot more droopy, a lot less firm of a temper. Chrome Excel molds more than double shot does. Double shot is going to be more like a standard leather, a little bit less oily compared to the Chrome Excel. My theory is that they probably don't cook it as hard as they do the Chrome Excel. They heat the Chrome Excel leather in vats for long periods of time, so I don't think that the double shot at Seidel is as intensely heated, and so that's why it's a little bit more, got a little bit more stand-up. The differences between the two, obviously, pretty big design differences. On the outer compartment, we've got the full outside cargo compartment instead of just a standard pocket flap, which is on this one. All the accessories on this bag are made of Sepici. This is called Cognac Bridle. It's got a very nice tan orange tone about it. I made myself a bag, a full bag out of it as well. As you can see, the color of this, the colorway is very similar to the colorway on the Essex here, the Horween Essex. So, and as I turn it around, you can see here that the strap system is very similar to my Horween bag, but slightly different at the same time. On all my bags, I use real solid raw brass rivets as compared to on this one. These are mostly snap rivets, which are easier to install, but I think they just have a little bit cheaper of a feel. They're a little bit lighter weight. And then I could tell there was a lot of machine stitching done on this bag, whereas on this one, it is 100% hand stitched. Every single stitch done by hand. A typical bag takes me about 40 hours. This one easily took me about 55 hours just because of all the extra stuff I did to it. So as you can see here, so this is a brand new feature that I just designed. These are lateral side cargo compartments that I had to prototype up for this bag specifically. The customer requested that I make him something that would be able to house some water bottles. And initially I made sort of a big koozie sort of a thing, and I'll include pictures in the video of this thing. And it came together really well. I was surprised by how well it came together. It ended up being that I didn't like the idea of attaching something like that to the side of the bag, because if it rains, it's gonna collect a lot of water inside that thing. It's basically a koozie or a big leather cup essentially. And so while it would be ideal to to hold a water bottle, it would not be ideal for day-to-day use, especially if you were carrying the bag around without a water bottle in there. That thing's just gonna fill up with water, and that's not good. So I scrapped that idea. I actually disassembled it, and I used some of the leather for the side pieces in these lateral compartments. These lateral compartments are pretty much designed the same exact way as this outer compartment. They take just as much time. Despite being smaller, they literally take the same amount of time because it's the same amount of work, it's the same amount of components, same amount of steps involved. So, you know, just because this one's big and these are small does not mean that they're less work. They were just as much work as this big one. Yeah, just to kind of prove that this does hold water bottles. Boom. There you go. Yeah, I wanted to make it so that it would hold a water bottle, but at the same time, when you're not using it, you can cinch that down, and so that way, you know, moisture doesn't accumulate in there. So that's how that works. So that will hold an average size water bottle and hold it in there pretty secure. And then, yeah, when not in use, you just close that up and or throw some other stuff in there. So yeah, I'm happy with how the lateral compartments came together. I'm thinking of using some of the remaining pieces that I have to put some on my Cognac Sienna bridle bag that I made for myself. Everything else is about this bag is pretty much the same as I've designed for my other ones. I did the enclosure lip again to protect the seams at the top, so I have this enclosure lip. Did a full lining in there as well. It was definitely the most involved bag that I've made so far. Part of doing this process has made me realize that I think that to make my ordering process easy, I mean, this was inevitable. I think I'm gonna need to get a website going, and so I'm gonna actually try to make the bag ordering process simplified, and I'm gonna try to do it sort of like MTO style. Like, you can pick the leather that you want. I'll have the leathers listed. I'll of course be available through email and stuff like that. I want to create the website so that you can opt for the upgrades and just pay for them in the checkout process. And so that way it sort of just streamlines everything, because I'm finding that handling things through DMs on Instagram is kind of hectic. I know a lot of boot companies, they do this. They take all their orders through conversations on Instagram through DMs, and then they actually you just send the money through like PayPal or something like that, and then they start building it out. But I think it might be easier for tracking purposes just to get a website going and just to see an order, see the specs. If you want to customize something further, throw it in the notes. So I'm thinking for something like this to upgrade from the standard flap to this entire cargo compartment, since it is so much more material, so much more work. This outer flap is barely any work at all. It's just a pocket essentially that you stitch down and rivet in. Whereas this is 3 different cuts of leather, one really large chunk of leather, and I actually underestimated how expensive, you know, that all the material is that just goes into this one piece. But then, yeah, you stitch the sides in. There's an additional roller buckle. Each one of these roller buckles is $3, so it's not like these are like super cheap either. So this bag has, I believe, 7 roller buckles in total. So right there in roller buckles alone, we're talking that's $21, right? And then the rivets, there's a ridiculous amount of rivets in here. Rivets aren't cheap. There's probably about 30-40 rivets in this whole bag. For a set of 100 rivets, it's $30. So at least $10 worth of rivets. There's probably about $250 worth of leather in this thing. So I need to get my pricing figured out, that's for sure, so that I can make this a worthwhile endeavor. And then just all the time. It's really a lot of time. I think when you break it all out, I think I probably made $1 per hour making this thing. So I think that I do just need to get a website going and make the ordering process just simple. Like I get it now. Like, to make the bag itself, to get all the materials is a hassle, right? Because you're ordering from so many different places. Like, I ordered the double shot from Seidel directly. I ordered the Sepici from Maverick Leather. I got all the hardware from Buckle Guy. I got all my tools on Amazon. I got these tables from a hardware store. It's just like, to get everything in this shop to begin with, that was a challenge. Then to design the thing and figure out how to put all the pieces together, right? Because like putting something like this together is like a puzzle. You know, there is no perfect way to do it. There's so many steps. And I was thinking about this during the process of making this, that, you know, I'm looking at some boots, and as much as I love boots and as much as I appreciate well-made boots, a lot more work goes into one of these bags than any pair of boots that I have, right? I mean, if there's 200 steps that goes into a pair of boots, there's 500 steps that goes into one of these bags. I've talked about this before. I could crank one bag out a week, but this bag took me 2 weeks. And I think that's the pace. I think one bag every 2 weeks is what I could reasonably do while still working my regular job and being a husband and being a parent and doing all the life stuff. Like, it's a lot of work. It's overwhelming. And you know, I'm proud of this. I'm very proud for how this came out. Anyways, what do you guys think about this bag? What would you pay for this thing? What do you think about the price? If I offered these on a website, would say $800-900 be something that you would pay for something like this? I just want to get your thoughts. Yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any tips for somebody trying to start a website, please let me know that as well. I contacted Wyatt from Grantstone, and I talked to Isaac at Pigeon Tree Crafting as well. And they both told me the same thing. They both use Shopify. So I have a suspicion that a lot of our favorite shops online use Shopify. And I did sign up. It's fairly easy. It's like $30 a month for like their standard package. And it looks like it pretty much gives you all the bells and whistles up front. So it's not that expensive to have a pretty nice looking website. Like, I look at Grantstone's website, that thing's beautiful. I look at Isaac's website, that thing is awesome. So I love both of their websites, so I'd be more than happy to have a website similar to theirs. And again, I think I'll just have like the custom ordering process. You pick the leather, you pick if you want a two-tone or whatever, or just a single leather throughout. And then if you want to tack on this cargo compartment, off the top of my head, I think it would be an extra $80. If you want to do the lateral compartments, I would charge an extra $80 total for two, since they're smaller, less material. So if you wanted like the whole shebang, extra, I think extra 160 is not that much to ask for, you know, all the extra work involved. And then obviously the body of the bag, this is a lot of leather, you know what I mean? Like in a pair of boots, you're using like probably a 1/10 or an 1/8 the amount of leather that is put into these bags. And this leather is not cheap. This is all super high quality premium leather from some of the top tanneries in the world. So please leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Help a guy out who's trying to get a business going. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate your feedback so much before you even give it to me. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see y'all in my next video.